Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No, don't tell anyone this. You gotta probably don't tell. You gotta probably don't tell anyone. Okay? We're exploring now. You know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're gonna do that, though, there's a risk of as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses. You have to be very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something it goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
Is the way that the virus started and moving on. To be honest, it makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
Meet Jordon Trshton Walker, a director of research and development strategic operations and mRNA scientific planning at Pfizer.
It sounds like gain of function to me.
I don't know, it's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's definitely not gain of function.
It sounds like it is. I mean, it's okay.
No, directed evolution is very different. Well, you're not supposed to do gain of function research with the viruses. They recommend not. But you do these selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Yeah.
So there is research ongoing about that. I don't know how that's going to work. There might not be any more outbreaks because Jesus Christ.
The gentleman seems to have absolutely no moral compass at all.
It's a revolving door for all government officials. It's pretty good for the industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone else in America.
Why is it bad for everybody else?
Because if the regulators who have to approve our drugs know that once they stop being regulated, they want to go work for the company, they're not going to be as hard for the company. They're doing their job.
If this is the quality of individuals within Pfizer that are making these huge decisions that risk global public health, it's profoundly corrupt.
What is Pfizer doing, I guess, to optimize, the vaccines now?
Oh, we actually had a meeting about that today, so there's a lot.
Really?
They're doing, I don't know if I should say this.
Our undercover journalist asked Walker how Pfizer is handling the fact that their COVID vaccines are ineffective against virus variants. What he said is disturbing. Listen to this.
We're exploring, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses.
Yeah.
So we're do we want to do this? So that's one of the things we're considering.
Okay.
The future, maybe we can create new versions of the vaccines and things like that.
Okay, so Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No. That's why it was a thought that came up at a meeting, and we were why do we not? It was we're going to consider that with more discussions.
Okay.
That exact reaction, right? We're wait a minute, people won't like that.
That's right. It appears that Pfizer is internally discussing the possibility of mutating the COVID virus themselves in order to tailor a vaccine to sell to the public. Listen to Walker describe in detail just how they would conduct such a scientific experiment, first in living animals.
So the way that we're thinking about it, don't tell anyone this. You gotta probably don't tell anyone. Okay, bro. So the way it would work is we put them in the virus in these monkeys.
Okay.
And then we successively cause them to keep infecting each other. And we collect serial samples from them, and then the ones that are more infectious, like the virus, we'll put them in another monkey and just constantly actively mutate it. That's one way. Okay. Or we can even do directed simulation, which we tend not to prefer. And then you just sample what the different proteins on the surface of the virus look like over time.
Okay.
So then you can see the mutation, and you can force it to mutate in a certain way you want.
Okay.
But you have to be very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something that goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
Is the way that the virus started and moving on. To be honest, it makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
COVID virus experimentation on live monkeys? This is unethical, to say the least, and Walker describes those experiments as if they are ongoing and not simply a hypothetical discussion.
So, when is Pfizer going to implement the mutation of all these viruses?
I don't know. It depends on how the experiments work out, because this is just something that's dying, right?
It sounds like gain of function to me.
I don't know. It's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's definitely not gain of function.
It sounds like it is. It's okay.
No. No, directed evolution is very different.
Direct evolution?
Directed evolution.
Directed evolution, okay. Well, so, I mean, is that what it is?
Maybe, well, you're not supposed to do gain function research with the viruses, like, they recommend not. But you do, like, these, like, selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Yeah.
So there is research ongoing about that. I don't know how that's going to work. There might not be any more outbreaks, because, like, Jesus Christ.
So, tell me more, like, what's developing with the whole, virus mutation process?
Well, they're still kind of conducting the experiments on it, but it seems like from what I've heard, they're kind of optimizing it, but they're going slow. They were very cautious, like,
Right.
Obviously, don't want to kind of accelerate it too much.
Yeah.
But I think they're also just trying to do it as an exploratory thing, because you obviously don't want to advertise that you're trying to figure out future mutations.
Wait, so did the whole virus mutation thing, like, come from your executive, Sarah?
No, that came from, like, we have, like, chief scientific officers in, like, the other divisions.
In a subsequent meeting, our undercover journalist asked if this type of gain-of-function research is already being studied at Pfizer. But no, as long as it's called directed evolution, Pfizer's in the clear.
What's the goal for Pfizer of doing that?
So part of what they want to do is, like, to try to figure out, to some extent, like, there's all these new strains of variants that just pop up. Why don't we try to, like, catch them before they pop up in nature, and we can develop a vaccine prophylactically for, like, new variants.
Yeah.
So that's why they're thinking, like, if you do it controlled in the lab, then we say, oh, this is an epitope. And so then if it comes out later on, like, in the public, we already have a vaccine kind of working on it.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that the best business model though? Like, just control nature before nature even happens itself, right?
Yeah, if it works.
What do you mean if it works?
Because, like, some of the times there were just mutations that pop up, right, and we're not prepared for it, like with Delta or Omicron,
right,
and things like that. So who knows? I mean, either way, it's going to be a cash cow. COVID will probably be a cash cow for us for a while going forward. Like,
yeah.
I obviously like
Well, I think the whole, like, research of the viruses and mutating it, like, would be the ultimate, like, cash cow.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Now, you would think that creating viruses to sell the vaccine would be illegal. But no. The pharmaceutical industry, as Walker puts it, is, quote, a revolving door for all government officials, unquote.
A revolving door for all government officials?
Wow.
Yeah, for any industry though. So, like, in the pharma industry, all the government officials who, like, review our drugs, they come work for pharma companies. Like, in the military, like, all the, like, Army and Defense, like, government officials eventually go work for the defense companies afterwards.
How do you feel about that revolving door? Like,
it's pretty good for the industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone else in America.
Why is it bad for everybody else?
Because if the regulators who have to approve our drugs know that once they stop being regulated, they want to go work for the company, they're not going to be as hard for the company. They were doing their job.
Right.
We talked to Dr. Robert Malone, physician, scientist, and author, to get his take on the comments made by Jordan Walker.
You're gaining function. You're creating a new function in virus 1 by adding elements from virus 2, infecting one monkey and then another monkey. That's called serial passage. That appears to have been one of the technologies deployed in the Wuhan Institute of Virology with the humanized mouse strains that I believe were obtained from EcoHealth Alliance. That's an example of directed evolution. The gentleman seems to have absolutely no moral compass at all about what he's doing. The hubris and arrogance and immaturity. If this is the quality of individuals within Pfizer that are making these huge decisions that risk global public health with such a casual disregard for the human toll, it's profoundly corrupt in terms of would it be feasible for Pfizer to circumvent international or national law. I think that is undeniable. And the gentleman in your investigative work has clearly indicated that Pfizer believes that it has successfully captured the regulatory apparatus of the United States government and presumably worldwide. Pfizer has completed regulatory capture, is quite proud of it.
With governments turning a blind eye and Pfizer hiding information from the public, this is an ongoing story. Be brave, do something, spread these videos, and stay tuned.